Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu-Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and mostly trashy world of reality TV and some docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which can be in New Orleans, so Cajun. It can be in Greece, so Roman. It can be it can be in Long Beach or LA, we're not quite sure, or Santa Monica. It could be in a bunch of places, but at the end of the day, hopefully something mildly sweet. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So today we're
Hi.
talking 90 Days Single Life season 4 episode 8, Chantal gets a taste. That is so misleading. Like this episode is way less about Chantal than almost every other. It should have been like um Veronica gets back. It should be like Jamal is a gaslighter. That's what the name of this episode should have been. Jamal is a gaslighter.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about it. I had an opposite opinion of you. I thought that she was beyond crazy.
Oh, I think that he is a gaslighter and a little kid. He's immature. Okay, let's start off with Chantel though.
Okay.
So Chantel and her friends get invited to a festival. What
Hmm.
festival? They are not aware of it until they get there. And she's just like, I'm so excited to see his culture. Um,
Yeah. It was interesting because we're like, oh, exciting. Now they pull up and the festival is a bunch of it's outdoor picnic tables and long, long picnic tables with people sitting like obviously family style, just that's what we see. So we're like,
and
oh, okay. Also
yeah,
this, it's
yep. The
I can't
environment
imagine a world
gives you
in
something. The environment shows you what you're getting into. Go.
yeah, it almost looked like low key like a not Hawaiian luau, like that kind of thing. Just like it kind of that little vibe or whatever. Not I didn't see any pigs. But it's so interesting because if someone was like, hey, do you want to go to a festival tonight? I'd be like, great. What festival? And they would be like, blah bitty blue, blue bitty blue. So I'd be like, what is that? And they would answer. I just can't imagine a world like Chantel's world where she's like, hey, what's happening? And that person's like, what are you doing tonight? And she's like, nothing. And he's like, do you want to go to a festival? And she's like, okay. And then she just leaves and gets dressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, okay. And then that's it. That's all she needs to know because now she's going to get, hair and makeup on. But yeah, this festival is a festival of snails, honey. It's this festival of the snail. Have you ever eaten snails?
I want to say no, but I think that I might have in New York City one time. I had a very adventurous friend who would like make me eat all kinds of things, and so
That
maybe
wasn't
one of
me.
those things. Yeah, I
Mhm.
wasn't. One of those things was snail. But I would have done that though, Chris. So I see what you're saying, but if somebody were to invite me to a festival in a foreign place, I'm just like, I don't know. What does it matter what the festival's for? I don't know.
But why? What do you mean?
You're
What is it
you're
for? Like, because it's like exciting to know because you're curious because you're gonna like take part. What's the festival for? Like, what a special time? I'm like a Disney princess. Like, I'm in Greece during what special time? I can't wait to find out what special time. I would like Google it. I would just like later on find out like what do you wear to the Blavity Blue Snail Festival? Like what do they do there? Is there a TripAdvisor review about it that I could read? I'll kill you right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, you wouldn't go on TikTok and be like, "What's happening at the snail festival?" Like, I feel like you do your.
No, you do your research. You need to know
I do,
everything about every single situation that
I
you
do.
would come into. Yeah, and
Yes,
it's so interesting. Chris is the one of us that does all of the research on everything, and
of course.
she knows, but don't ask her because then her brain freaks out. Like she's like, I it's so you guys would not even know. This girl goes deep diving into any fucking thing that she wants to know, but the things that she needs to know, absolutely will do not a dive deep, not a deep dive,
Okay,
not a
I
deep
have an
dive.
answer.
Anyways,
Yes, I have an answer. Listen, I've said this before. My knowledge, I'm already like 42 or whatever. Like, I can't believe I told you my natural age, but like, see this water bottle? It has water in it, right? Like, there's already water in it. So if you put
how'd you get
more
water in
water in
there?
it, what?
That's the smallest opening. You just like,
That's what he said.
did you?
So anyway,
Oh,
like if you put more water, I know if you put more water in, some will leak out, some will just fall out because it's just And so at the same time, it's like I can't know everything, And I think that yes, I'm very smart, but sometimes the pressure can be a little too much for me to just like
yeah, so you have a
be for
freak out,
everything for everyone all of the time. But anyway,
and
let's
you
get back
know
to
the
this.
answer. It's funny. Anywho,
Sometimes
so
I don't
she
have the energy to give it.
Yeah, but you were smart and you were like, I don't know. So she gets
Oh,
there
snails.
and she's like, "Oh, I imagine at this festival we are going to be cuddling. I imagine at this festival he I don't know." But when she got there, she didn't go, "Oh, there's going to be no cuddling." Okay, 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 okay. I see what's happening now. It's not a walk, it's not the Renaissance Fair. It's not a walk around situation. It is pay your entrance fee at the door, sit down, and people will bring you food and wine and other things. And she cannot handle that. She's sitting next to her friend and she's like, he hasn't even like gotten up and asked me to sit on his lap yet. I don't understand. I thought we were going to be like cuddling. And then he's like, "Oh, it's a snail festival." And she's like, "Snail? Like, I know what escargot is." And I'm like, "Girl, you're not in fucking France. So call it whatever it is in Greece, in Greek." And so then
Yes.
she's like, I don't want to eat this. And like oysters, I know what oysters are. Oysters are for as an aphrodisiac. And I'm like, "Bitch, you are not at an oyster festival. Why do you even bring up oysters? Like, are you saying that oysters are the snails of the sea?" But I'm pretty sure they're sea snails. I don't know for sure, but I'm sure there's other things that we eat in the sea that is more akin to, but you don't like oysters either. Chris doesn't like anything from the sea, you guys.
All
So
of
she,
these, I could not discuss. All of these are
oh,
not for
you
me.
for the francophile, you couldn't do escargot?
No.
Oh, tell us more.
Oh, I have weird food. I mean, I have weird food things. They're just not things I eat.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
I mean, I'm not weird food things. Like listen, I'm just very American. So unfortunately, I eat chicken, I eat beef, I eat turkey, I eat like cured pork, and that's fucking it. Like, I'm not even like super like Western American where I could be like, give me some elk. I like that elk protein, bison, so good for you. Like, nope, nope, naughty, nope. I don't eat goose on Christmas, duck, no thanks. No frog legs, no alligator. I'm cool. Like I keep my meats on the DL, like just the basic one. I'm like the
No
basic
goose,
bitch.
no
I'm a
duck.
pumpkin spice
Okay.
latte of meats. And I wish I didn't even eat real. I mean, whatever, meats are meats. It's just, I don't, I spent a long time being vegetarian.
Yeah,
So
girl. I was there during the vegetarian
I
age.
know. So I'm not someone who wants to eat. I don't want to even think it. Yeah, I don't want something to even look like it's from an animal. So that
Ex-
sounds incredibly privileged. Like I should know that it's an animal. Of course I do, but like snail, I cannot texture. Just no thanks. I cannot do it. Okay, that's no. You can't. I like ground beef. I know that sounds horrible. Like I just can't. It's I just have to like consume it, the protein, and then just not think and like pray and like be grateful that someone gave me their life. God bless
yeah, you're right.
somebody.
Um, I, 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 I understand what you're saying, and I hear you. Now, back to
Mhm.
Chantel. So she couldn't eat it, and he like spits it out or whatever, but they don't show
But
that.
she got a taste.
Yeah, she got a little taste of whatever the juices were in that, and then she's upset because he isn't paying attention to her,
Yeah. She wants to
and
be she wants that male attention. And they're sitting at a table where all of her friends are on one side and he's on the other side with his friends and she doesn't speak their language. And so all she and we see is him kind of like talking to his bro friends, sometimes looking at her, sometimes whatever, speaking in a different language. Now, I'll tell you right now, why aren't they giving us subtitles for them? Right?
I don't know.
They know, like, they're not speaking in a made up language, you know what I'm saying? It's like either Greek or whatever he is. Like, I think he's from, I forgot where he's actually from.
I
He's
don't
from a different
know,
place,
but
Estonia. I don't know.
here's the truth. I don't know
What?
enough about Greek to understand if there's many different languages in Greece or dialects of the Greek language. I'm
Hmm.
sure there are,
Hmm.
but I don't
They
know.
can, they know they can give us
You're
yeah, they
right.
can pay for that. I know.
Yeah, you're right.
So, and they don't because they kind of, I feel like, want us to think that they're like low key, maybe talking shit. Like it looks kind like not in a, like it does kind of look like they're just kind of like 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 I mean I can't speak it but like and she is just across the table just like
Mhm, mhm,
staring daggers and
mhm.
and then she's like it just feels like he's not paying attention to me and her friend's like oh he's totally not no he's not I mean he's not paying attention to you and then her other friends the other two friends are just like back here just like We can't even really talk to you. We're so far away. This table is so awkwardly set up, so that's another interesting
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, you're right, but here's the truth. If I'm at a festival in a foreign country, I don't need a man who's from that country to pay attention to me. I'm gonna figure it out because I'm an adult. Now,
Oh.
I don't care.
I agree. I don't think that she has a security like you do for a bunch of reasons. I'm not, and I think that she is showing her insecurity with wanting and needing attention at every single morsel. And I think that it also screams emotional immaturity, but it's also something that is so very basically a hardcore femme trait that we've seen before and we'll see again.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know if we're gonna be right for each other in the future, but right now he's not cuddling me in front of everybody, so I don't think so. Okay,
At the
let's move
snail
on.
festival.
The Snail Festival. Let's move on. Let's go to Debbie because it was a little
Hmm.
short one too.
Hmm.
And I feel like we want to keep the heavy hitters like Natalie, John, and Veronica to the last. Okay, so Debbie. Debbie is been driving around with Ruben until the sun went down, okay? And now they're on their way to his home, and we find out that he is a caretaker for his parents.
Hmm.
And so I love that. He is in his 60s and his parents are then I guess in their 80s. And so they get to the house and the father is like, "Hello, huh? Hello, hi, I'm Debbie. Debbie. Ah, okay." Like literally they put a mic on him. He knew what was happening, but he's got to watch his TV. So he's watching TV. He doesn't care. He's like, "Cool, Debbie, great. Okay, bye." And so then they go outside and sit in some lovely plastic chairs, just the plastic chairs that is at every cookout that you've ever been to, every backyard, every like fiesta, siesta, it's there. So they sit on
Hmm.
this and then they start talking about some real deal stuff. And he's like, "Listen, A, you're going to have to move to Miami. B, and help me take care of my kids. I mean, my parents." That is what it is to be with Ruben the Cuban. And Debbie's like, "Well, this is different because I didn't feel awkward at all. The dad was so sweet. And then we went outside and now I'm like, oh, I have to move to Florida."
I This scene is bananas for 1 billion reasons because Ruben comes in and says the following things in a row, which is like blows your mind, blows your mind. He's like, "Hey, just so you know, low key, after I last night when I took you on that date and we had the best time of our lives, just so you know, like my mom wasn't feeling good and ends up she had to go to the hospital." And Debbie's like, "Why didn't you, Ruben, why didn't you just stay and take care of your mom?" And he's like, "No, Debbie, it's because my mom would have wanted to die knowing that I like had taken you out last night and maybe dance with you. Like, like whatever." And she's like, "Ruben, that's crazy." And then Ruben's like, "Debbie, just so you know, it's really important to me that we just like that you move here, that we just like we're in love and we're gonna be together for the rest of our lives." She's like, "Ruben, I don't know. I think let me tell you, my last relationship with Osama, I moved too fast, and so now I just gotta really make sure that my heart and my head are together." And Ruben does a fucking 180. He's like, "Yes, of course, that's what I'm saying. We need to make sure that our hearts, our heads are together, and that we take the time necessary to be together." Like
Hmm. Hmm.
this part is red flags, as red as if you're on Patreon, you see my shirt, it is red. And I know in my heart of hearts that Miss Debbie feels it. She felt it that this man, I think, is it for her. The minute that she saw that he, in fact, was more colorful than her, and she saw that, she's like, "That's not right." And she was right. And in this moment, this conversation happens, and Debbie, the entire time, has a smile that is there that is the kind of generational Southern smile that's on the face of a woman who can grin and bear a situation until it passes. And it's a sort of tight cheeked smile that makes me feel like she is all out mentally. I cannot believe it's real. I think that even for her, she's like, "Nope, not even whatever." And maybe she feels like she has a nice man and she's in Miami and he has a tricycle he'll drive around her with. And maybe she feels like she can't go to Julie to be like, "I fucked up again, Julie, and this one's even crazier," like I'm not quite sure which one it is, but I know that in this moment, she would be rather watching like Price is Right or Jeopardy in the house with the dad than like this conversation with Ruben. And that's what I know.
It's so interesting because they have left that mother in the hospital by herself. Her husband's not there with her. It's not COVID. So I had so many. It's one thing for Ruben to not be there, but the fact that his dad isn't there is problematic. And listen, I don't know their lives. I don't know what she's going through. I wish her all the best, but that was really weird for me. So she's like, I gotta think about it. And then we move on to John.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We are at this, John, but before this, we have a little bit that we want to talk about with John. Christina, cut this out. This is for Patreon only. Go ahead.
So, you guys, if you watched our reel, we made a reel where we basically talked last episode about how basically Patrick called out the fact that that John and his girlfriend Megan had really just hung out a couple of times at a couple of hotels and boned, and now she has a child, and they're gonna like see if they can like be together for the rest of their lives. And John, I guess, follows our Instagram. And so he DM'd, first of all, so this is, I'm just, this is what we're talking about. So this is the exact is Patrick and Thais's brand new baby. I think half of their mild judgment of her is how does she think he can be a father when all they've done is a variety of 3-star hotels in the past 5 months. And like, why? And like, they trap her in this dinner. They know he doesn't want to be a father. And they're like, hey, young thing, you just over having kids? You want to have any kids? And she's like, well, I want to have two, a boy and a girl. Like, I'm sorry, can you do that again with an alto voice? Because you just went soprano. And you just told us she had a great sultry alto. So do it again. I know. Alto. They're like, do you want to have kids? And she's like, well, I always wanted to, a boy and a girl. Obviously, I have a girl, so I really want the boy now. And then Patrick is like, well, John doesn't. John's face is like, and Thais is there, like, shakes her head in Brazilian with the baby, like, doesn't want this, doesn't want it.
It's a lot. There's a lot to take in. I'm still taking in everything right now.
So we post that on Instagram. He writes back this
4-star hotel, first off, and put a shirt on. Nobody wants to look at that cleavage unless they 15 or desperate. Chris responds with, nobody wants to look at that crevage is honestly not that offensive. So in this case, I'll take it as an opinion for an opinion. Good luck, John. John responds to, wasn't meant to be wasn't meant to be. I figured I can critique and give my opinion to what I'm
wasn't
seeing.
Meant, yeah, no, do it as like accent. You want to do it like wasn't meant to be. I figured I could critique and give my opinion. He's so, God bless.
And then he says, what's supposed to be cleavage? Dang, autocorrect. So, I mean, he's trying to be cute and fun with us from my perspective. Trying to go for Chris's body, and Chris.
Yeah, I think that he can't spell, and I think that he is dumb, and I think that he he definitely made it. It's not that he body shamed me, although he did, of course. It's just so funny because his comment is nobody wants to see my cleavage, whatever he spelled, but he meant cleavage, unless they are 15 or desperate. And I thought that was such an interesting thing to go after. Like, it's like no one wants to see boobs. No men want to see boobs. My boobs are in a sports bra. I definitely have cleavage. They're not like in a bikini top. It's such an interesting dig at me. Like, no one wants to see female boobies because what am I, like a plus size lady, and so they're like bigger. Like, it was such an interesting dig at me. But I think that I'm not going to hold him to the cross of being a gentleman. I believe me, what am I expecting out of this person? So, but I wanted to share with that situation. I did diffuse this situation by giving him the out of being like, well, you shared your opinion, we share ours, which is, I guess, is true. I do share my opinion. Now, have I ever shared my opinion in his DM? No, I don't ever try and like put my opinion in someone's view in their social media. I just put mine on my dumb podcast or my Instagram page. If he
Not dumb.
looks at it,
This
that's it is.
podcast
But
is
like,
great.
that's what another thing is. Like I'm like I get so mad. It's so funny. It's like it's so not mad, but I get so like about like when viewers do it to them, like, I'm just like, oh, like if you think that Ed's dumb, and believe me, I absolutely do. Like, as much as I like never want to talk about Ed, you'll never see me comment on his Instagram or, of course, be in his DMs. I couldn't care less. It's so funny that he got so upset to reply back. That's what you're saying. He's not so upset. I just say, like, what the fuck? I mean, I don't know. I think it was obviously, I think it's tacky and classless, but I mean, again, what can I hold him to? So
no one. I think we're the only people that are talking to him. So,
I don't
like,
know. I don't talk to this person.
No. But I think, I think that, like, I don't know if anyone else is making fun of him, and so maybe he's going into everybody's DMs who makes fun of him. But I love that you're like, nobody want to look at that crevage. And then he realized afterwards that it was spelled wrong, and he comes back with, "What's supposed to be cleavage? Dang, autocorrect." So his dig back to us didn't even make as much sense because she was able to make fun of him for it. But should I put that little screenshot on Patreon so they can see it?
No, I mean, I don't want to give it more. I mean, unless they want it. If you want it, you guys go and you say, if you want me to show it to you, I will. But the only reason why I'm saying no right now is it's because I didn't want to almost share it because I feel like negativity like breeds negativity. And I do feel like, am I giving a negative opinion about his situation? And that's why I got negativity back? Possibly. And that's why I don't want to do more. But I also just want to share with people that are like, our OG boobity bops that like this thing happened.
Boobity bops. Speaking of, Chris, are you in love with my nails?
Yes.
Great. I've been like
milky.
I got them and I was like, oh,
are they gray?
They're like a
They're
taupe.
kind of gray.
They're my taupe. And I was like, they're taupe for me. So then I was like, oh, Chris is gonna love this because I'm doing a Chris thing. And the next time, I love this so much that I think I'm gonna do another boring flesh tone again. Every single one of your nails are boring. Every single one. Like,
that's so rude.
Blush,
I literally have nothing on there but base color.
They're all the same color of pink. They're all different colors of the same shade of okay. We don't want it. We don't want that.
Oh, it's perfectly manicured. They look great. I am just using base coat right now. I'm saving money by only getting my nails done like every 3 weeks or every 2 to 3 weeks, and so I can get obviously a pedicure then. And then every week I have to redo my nails. So that's what's happening right now. I'm on a week where I did it myself. And that just means base coat. Okay. Oh, we go back to talking about this episode.
Yeah, we're back. So if you guys didn't get to hear that and you did, patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month. Okay. Now, John is in the car ride home very quiet or somewhere. Okay. They're very, very quiet because now at this point, he's like, how bad could this night be? So he turns to Texas Amy and he's like, you want to go to a bar, get a drink? I think we deserve a drink. And so she's like, okay. So then they go to a bar and have a drink, in which she's just like, wow, that was intense. And he's like, yeah, I didn't expect my family to do all that. And she's like, well, your brother said that you were not interested in having kids. And he's like, I didn't say I wasn't interested in having kids. I said I wasn't interested in a baby. I said I wasn't interested in a baby. And definitely if I am, I'm not definitely interested in it now. And so she's like, well, I mean, one thing that I do want to put on you is that we can't go much further unless you move to Texas. Like, I just can't do this long distance thing. And he's like, well, I don't like timelines and I don't like ultimatums. So what I'm saying is that maybe I might consider it, but definitely don't ask me to tell you when. And I'm telling you right now, this is triggering for me because I'm like, what do you mean you don't like timelines? How do you plan for anything if you don't have a timeline? Like, I just don't get, how do you know what your day is going to be if you don't go, okay, I'm at 2, I'll do this. At 4, I'll do this. And if by 5, I don't have this done, then I fucked up. And my day is lost. I mean, I don't know, like how I want to actually, I'm going to say it in a way where I'm going to call in. I want that ability and I don't have it. I don't know how people do it. So I need to be taught this thing in which someone and their child, yeah, I want to help you with Riva, but like, I don't know if I could do it next week or next month or even next year. I don't want that put on me. I want to take my time to decide when I'm going to do it, leave you on the edge of your seat until I'm ready, and then I'll tell you. And hopefully you're still around. Like, isn't that,
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, okay. Okay, great.
Well,
Cool.
that's for him. Yeah, that's what he wants, you know. I think that I think that for him, he maybe thinks, well, you just met my family. I gotta get now I have to marinate and sit and think if this is gonna work out. And like I think that probably for him, it was a little jarring and maybe nervous to have like everyone be pointing out obvious issues in their relationship, and so to then suddenly be like, well, let's figure it out right now. Probably he couldn't give an answer that he felt comfortable with and then needed to delay the conversation in order to sit and think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, yeah, someone's ready to lay everything out and has come prepared with that. The other person mentally may not have been prepared to lay everything out at that time. Maybe he literally thought, oh, well, we met my sister or my sister-in-law, and my brother, you're leaving, we're going to have one more time together. Maybe he just wasn't expecting like a intense mind conversation and was in a different vibe. That's a lot of grace I'll give him.
Yeah, that is a lot of grace. I guess what I would say then to that is then say how you're feeling in that moment. Say, my answer is no. Because that's what your answer is to me. Is I cannot give you this because I wasn't thinking of that. And so
In
in
this
this moment,
moment, I can't give you an answer to your question in this moment. I have to, you would say then the answer is no. If he
yeah,
says I can't.
like yeah, if you tell me I can't give you an answer for that in this moment, then I, as the person who requires an answer, would then go, okay, it's no then. Because otherwise, you would just say, yes, I can do this, or no, I can't do this. And the way that you are stuck is
Mm.
because
But you're
the answer is
demanding an
no.
answer. You can't just always demand an answer from someone the minute that you want to demand an answer from someone. Doesn't that seem selfish and rude? Like someone doesn't have to give you 100% their opinion on something the minute you demand their opinion on something.
If I'm in a relationship with them and we're trying to like create something together, then yes, I would say yes. But now I'm
Hmm.
thinking about it and I'm like, okay, is that wrong? Okay. That's a good segue for me to now think about. So I shall. Go ahead.
People, I think, and I mean like in a neurodivergent way, like access information and like have different reactions to things differently, and their minds work through things differently. And I think that it's hard to just demand someone to give you something in that moment and then get mad at them if it's not the exact thing that you say, and or put upon them an answer that they're not saying. So if like he's like, I can't deal with an ultimatum right now because and he's just like, I really like and care for you, but like I can't give you the answer right now because we're maybe at a bar and I'm dealing with maybe the emotional thing of having just seen. It's a lot to demand of someone in that moment because you want something, you know, which is an immediate. Like it's not that you don't deserve an answer, and not you or her. Of course, yes, you can't go your life not thinking like what's happening. You of course will get an answer, but I think there's a certain patience and grace of when it will come. It doesn't have to come the minute you ask for. It can come, like that night, later in the morning. 24 hours, give me 3 days, like 24 hours to 3 days, I think is a good time to be able to have someone sit with something and give you a good answer. That's how I would answer. Would say,
Yeah. All right. Great perspective.
Hmm.
Okay. So he's like, I don't want this right now. And then it feels like the very same night he's taking her to the airport. So
Mhm.
when she said a day, one
In and out, honey.
in and out.
Animal
I mean,
style. Animal style.
dropped That's what a hamburger is all about. Like, I mean, it came in and then had sex, went to dinner, gave an ultimatum, went to have drinks, and then took her back to the airport.
That's probably why he was like, ultimatum, you're 1 day here. I thought we were just going to go and have a date now, like a normal time, like where you're in my. I mean, it's something they didn't go to Vegas.
They did not.
Like, think about where they went to dinner. Like, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not saying that if you live in Vegas, you're not always going to the Strip. And definitely she drove by the Strip and she definitely was only there for a night. But it's so funny that like that they're not part of that one night was like, take you to Harrah's, take you to
No,
Golden Nugget.
not a flamingo.
Right?
I mean,
Yeah.
Chris, like, yeah, I don't, not a show?
She's never been out of Texas.
Not a show. No.
Anyway, she deserves better. She deserves more. She deserves more.
So then he takes her to the airport and she's like, well, think about it because we have my daughter to think about. And so at this point, we've been dating for 3 months. And I need you to decide like if you are able to move and like really have this relationship, because she recognizes that all they've been doing is fucking in 3-star hotels. Now, he's like, what could go wrong? And then his car starts to smoke. And so he pulls over and I'm just like, your car is smoking? What world? I live in I'm like, call your dad. Your car is smoking? What do? I would be like, what do I do? Dad, my car is smoking. Come pick me up. Okay, well, I'll come get you. Where are you?
Not 2,000 miles away.
Yeah.
Babe. AAA is the answer. No, everyone's dad is now AAA, honey. I mean, just
yeah. It's unfortunate.
And I think that he should be in all the. I mean, John should be in all the A's, honey. Yes. Top to bottom. If it's an A, sign him up.
NA, AA, AAA.
Yeah.
All the batteries, everything.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time whenever I see a car on the side of the road because of snow. I'm like, oh my God, do they call their dad? And then you're like, oh, you can't call your dad. Well, I will still call my dad. Okay. I want you to know that I will still call him and I will make him sit on the phone with me until someone comes. I'll be like, hey,
after you call AAA because
I'm in a ditch. Yeah, I'm in a ditch. And he's like, okay, call AAA. I was like, okay, I'm gonna hang up and call you back. So then I call AAA and then I call him back and I'm like, okay, they're gonna come. What are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm in my garden. You see my oranges? And so he's gonna show me his oranges. So I'm in a ditch in the middle of the darkness at 5:30 p.m. on a snowy Minnesota highway, and my father is at home on a sunny California day picking oranges. Great. Life.
God bless him. God bless him. So yeah. Okay. So let's get on. Let's move on. We have Veronica.
Yeah.
We have Veronica and Natalie, right?
Mm-hmm. Veronica and Natalie.
Okay. Let's do Natalie. So Natalie, we're picking up on Natalie having a cold introduction to her meet off with Josh, which is, I feel like, poorly produced because the last thing we saw was that she had their meeting.
Oh, I thought you said
like
meet
standoff.
Off.
It's like a standoff, like meet off. Because like a standoff meet off. This is why I'm so annoyed by it. Because the last we saw of them together was her brilliant Shakespeare monologue where she is given an Academy Award winning role in a new horror movie. We saw that. Then from there, we get her and her mom going to Halloween and going to breakfast, those scenes. And in those scenes, which are now after after that dinner scene, is where we remember what Mike is like, and we talk about how Natalie should have already had kids, but she didn't have kids because she keeps getting married to guys that, yes, love her, but she keeps leaving them, which is like, okay, so that's what, but then her remembering, I guess, that was supposed to be the impetus to her be like, but you know who doesn't love me? This Josh, because Mom, Josh actually, now that I think about it, doesn't love me, especially not like as much as all the other guys like Mike did. He won't even let me come to his home. He doesn't want to spend not one holiday with me, not Halloween, not Christmas. He didn't invite me to Christmas, said that he doesn't want his daughter to like meet me. We're supposed to assume that at some point they have called each other and been like, meet me for a weird coastal lunch. Okay, I'll meet you at that weird pier for the coastal lunch. Okay, and that's the scene where she comes in, he sees her, she doesn't give him eye contact, and she sits down and she won't hug him. Like, am I right? Like, that's like what the storyline is.
Yeah, it's very A to C, and I just needed to see B.
Why didn't they give us, they didn't give us a phone call, a text, like a little flashback of them having an awkward exchange? I'm so interested why they didn't give us a scene where Natalie was like, Josh, for Christmas, I would love to, bring some gifts for your kids and get to know them. And plus, I don't have anywhere to go for the Christmas, with my mom, and he's like in Arizona and he's like, well, you can't come with your mom, and she's like, but Josh, I live now in California where you told me, like, we don't get that conversation really. Like, what we get is her talking about it. And then this scene. So now this scene is her just basically having already been like, it's obvious you don't love me. Don't even try and tell me you don't love me. And he's kind of like, well, I care for you.
Yeah, I did everything I could. He is so excited for this breakup. He is so excited for it because the way that he allows her just to like walk away as though it was her idea is so fuckboy brilliant of him. Yeah, like
obvious,
he just is like, she gets there and she's like, oh, I don't know, hug you. And she's another person with lots of like things in her hair. What is that called? Extensions. So she walks up. The way she walks up kind of reminds me of like, at the beginning of Golden Girls when they have the like montage of all them and Blanche. Blanche, I love you.
Walking, it's perfect. Yes.
Blanche walking out of her bedroom with the like head, the mask.
It's nose up
with the silk outfit. She's like, Dorothy, I'll do it. And then like walks. Okay, that is what she looks like. If you guys know the beginning of Golden Girls,
yes,
Rue McClanahan, aka Blanche, just like walks from the bedroom with such authority with her silk outfit on. Okay, and so then she's like, I don't want a hug, and then she's like, I deserve more, Josh. Okay, I give you everything. I'm 1 in a million woman, and I don't deserve to not know anything. You don't even want to invite me to meet your family. I move here for you. Me and Mama is here for you. And there's nothing, I don't know what I can do. And he's like, well, I'm very sorry, Natalie. I've given you everything that I can give you. And I do care for you a lot. And she's like, Josh, it's 2 years of my life. And he's like, it's also 2 years of my life. And this is where we end. This is where we're at. And I'm sorry I can't give you everything that you ever wanted. I've given you everything that I can. I've got a lot going on in my life. And I'm, and she's just like, okay, well, I can't have weak man. I can't have weak man and you're weak. So she does all the things. She insults him, calls him weak. She also talks about how she is, don't be treating her like a regular. I'm not a regular woman, Josh. I have camera crew follow me around, okay? I help you. I'm not a regular American or even Ukrainian woman. I deserve love. And everything
that look at me, my eyes. Look at my eyes.
Everything that woman says to him, I think to myself, you left Mike for this. You left Mike, who would have given you this had you at least gotten an interpreter job, had you tried anything to actually make money in this world. You would have more right now because Mike would have done it for you. And you chase this stupid dream with this stupid fuckboy, and this is what happens. Men bring me so much pain. Maybe I'm meant to be alone, and that's okay. I'll be alone. And we're all like, you're not going to be alone. What are you talking about? I have to have someone to heal me. And Josh is not here to heal me.
I'll be honest. I agree with her, and because of what she wants, it just took her so long. She wants to play by the old school rules. Like, so, I mean, for her, it's like, yeah, girl, she thought that she like had hooked a fuckboy, and the truth of the matter is she never did. Like she put all her eggs in his basket and like didn't vet him, and she like didn't do all like the super like trad stuff that she could have done. Like, I've been saying like, like she's not making it seem like that she has any other prospects but him. She
No,
makes
she
this,
doesn't.
like and this is like very interesting. She's like, she breaks down. She's like, I have nothing here. I'm in Los Angeles. I just have my mom, which is true. But half of me is like, why don't you like at this point have any other friends in America? Like this, like Mike, you have your claws in, but like you've been here enough. Like you should have more friends. Like you're in LA. It's not hard to make friends. The same thing with Rob. It's like not hard to like, make some money when you have like certain things going for you, like attractiveness. For her, I do think that like it's weird for her not to have friends. And the second thing is she needs to like date multiple men and then like use them against each other. She's not in a place to like land a guy who she thinks is super attractive and can give her a job and like thanks God. Like in her mind, Josh like is like a talent agent and has connections, and I want him and he's so hot. And it's like, Natalie, you're not gonna be able to get a guy with both. You're gonna have to like try and get like a disgusting guy that can give you good connections or a hot guy. Which if you and I think with your celebrity, you absolutely could get a hot guy, but like he's not gonna like be able to like pay for things.
Yep.
So
You're right.
that's what it is, babe. And I'm just telling you because I think that that's what you're going for. And if it's not what you're going for, I'm not saying you have to do that, but that's what feels like you want. So
Yeah. So it ends with that. She allows him to give her a hug. And she actually gives him like a good hug. She like jumps on her tippy toes and grabs him around his neck. And then the next thing we have is her hugging the tree,
Oh, yeah.
crying.
Yeah.
And then sitting on the curb, bawling into her hands with cute shoes. So
the hugging a tree. I like to hug trees, by the way. Did you ever hug a tree?
No.
Why?
I'm worried about the texture, and also I'm worried about ants or bugs getting on me that are actually on the tree after I hug it.
Yeah. You're not wrong. So
okay, so last but certainly not least is Veronica and Jamal. So they are on the car ride home after this date that Jamal found to be awkward. The date in which Veronica spoke to Luisa in what feels like 5 minutes worth of conversation, but perhaps it was more. And he's like, do you always feel the need to protect or like make Tim's girlfriends feel comfortable? It's like he has a problem with that. And then he's like, also, do you always feel like you have to do things for Tim, because it's weird that like he doesn't know how to order his own steak? And she's like, no, I admit to you that it's weird that he doesn't know how to order his own steak, but I want to make everybody in the situation feel comfortable. And he's just like, I like keep making these choices and we're just going to see what happens. And I was like, oh, what? Okay, that's and then she like on an offhand compares like the mother-son relationship to her and Tim, which I saw what she was trying to do because she really does see Tim as like a family, but Jamal found it to be wildly fucking inappropriate. Wildly inappropriate.
Yeah.
To the point where he then starts to gaslight her. But so that's just, I feel like this entire ride, he is saying all things in a calm voice. And when she then is like having a reaction to it, he's like, why are you yelling? Why are you getting upset? Why are you raising your voice? Why are you? And she's like, well, because I'm not raising my voice at you. I'm just passionate about what I'm saying right now. And he's like, oh, like, so that's where the gaslighting to me begins.
You know what? I hate to I mean, both people are, I think, insufferable, but like, I think that he wants to say this. Why are you taking, because she feels very, when she's in this dinner, she's like, this is how, Tim wants a steak. And then she like, instead of acquiescing to make, the girlfriend feel like she also has ownership over the man that she's dating, she then like is kind of like, well, this is who he is. And let me tell you if, like what it's like. And I think that what Jamal was trying to say is like, why do you feel the need to, control every part of like what's happening in this social situation. But instead she's like, no, I'm just speaking Spanish to someone who would rather speak Spanish. And I'm like, I don't think that she wants to. She don't think she is like, I need to speak Spanish right now with someone. I feel like she even like kind of put that on her, but okay. And then Jamal is like, the way that she's talking to him, she's like, well, I'm just doing it because I'm doing it because she's yes, raising her voice, but it also sounds condescending, which is why I think Jamal's like, well, don't speak to me like I'm a child. Stop raising your voice to me. I'm not a child. And that is when she won't. She's like, well, that's when I think that she gets, truly indefensible. She like loses her goddamn mind. They've never should been. I felt like they should never have been together. They don't have chemistry. I don't see them even like enjoying any sort of romantic vibes together. But in this situation, she and Tim have weird vibes that they have to get over their own connection, because I think it's going to be detrimental for them to experience that with someone else. They're in some sort of like trauma bond together. And that's what's very fucking obvious. And Jamal, I don't think has emotional IQ to say that, but what he's feeling, he can't quite say. And so I think that that's him doing that. But if you were around the toxicity of Veronica and Tim and saw the relationship, I would never want to be around it. I would be like, oh, you're in a relationship with someone. It's not respectful for me. The way you're being with that person and the way that you're allowing that person to be with you is not respectful for my place in your life, truly. So I blame her, and she's more seasoned in this case than Jamal and should know better.
I guess I just saw it as, I see what you're saying. I saw it more so if him trying to communicate, but then not being able to do it. And so he then latches on to the fact that they spoke Spanish. So she says that she wants to make Luisa comfortable. And then he changes the subject matter. He changes who he's specifically talking about when he then has this follow-up question. And she's like, well, I just wanted to do that for her. And he's like, I'm not talking about Luisa specifically. And she's like, oh, when did we switch the subject matter? Like, when did we switch from talking about Luisa's specific situation to me and Tim and all of his girlfriends' situation? And so he then is like, I don't know why you keep bringing up Luisa. She's like, because you specifically said about Luisa and about me speaking Spanish. And he's like, no, I changed the subject. That's how it felt to me. And so I could see completely where she was going from that. And then he's like, oh, you look really mad. And she's like, I am mad because now you're like making it about something else when your original question was specifically about Luisa. And then he's like, don't treat me like a child. And she's like, what? I'm just having a conversation with you and it's passionate. So if I'm raising my voice, it's not because I'm yelling at you as a person. I'm just frustrated with this situation. And then she gets upset. She takes off her mic and she lets her dog out. And he's like, so do you want me to leave? And I'm like, how did you jump from, talking about specifically Luisa, then to don't raise your voice at me because I'm not a child. And then when she just like is like, I'm done, I don't want to have this conversation anymore. He's like, so do you want me to leave? And she's like, what? I didn't say I wanted you to leave. I just said I'm done with this conversation right now. And he's like, this is way too extra. And I'm like, you don't get to say inflammatory things, remain calm in your voice and your tenor, and then escalate it and make it seem like it's more than what's happening in order to make her feel like she's wrong. It was, to me, classic gaslighting.
I can see what you're saying, because I feel like, I think what he wanted to say is you and Tim have a toxic relationship where you feel like, and I feel like what she did is like, he's not saying clearly what he's trying to say, which is, why do you feel the need to control the situation? Because you don't need to control him or her. You just need to be with me. And she's like, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. He's like, why are you yelling? And she's like, I'm just passionately telling you, this. And I think that she becomes, very defensive in this situation. And I don't know. I think that he's just neither not feeling it or not feeling an end to it, you know, like feeling there be no end. And I think it's because she has no awareness to even acquiesce that they have a toxic relationship, that there are certain patterns that she could see how she can fall into, that she feeds into, that she could be better about. I think in this situation, he wants to see that. He never says any of that. But I think if she had given him a little more of, I see what you're talking about. I don't need to control that. I can just let them be and not have a control of their relationship, because she's like, I want to make him feel good. I want to make her feel good. And it's like, let him have his relationship. Like, that's the truth, is like, you'd have no, it's crazy and weird. It feels very weird for you to even have such a care. And the truth of the matter is, in the same way, it feels crazy that he is so into this relationship. And you being so into his relationship is why he feels like he has to be so in this relationship. This relationship between me and you will never be healed, because you are both feeding into each other in such a way, and you have no awareness that it's going to ever stop.
Correct. Yeah, you're right. I think that you are correct. However, he did not say that. So that is wherein the problem lies, is that he is unable to communicate how he's feeling. And so he does other things to belittle what she's feeling. And that's where I get what you're saying. Like, she is wrong in this, as far as the overarching way that her and Tim interact with each other and interact with each other's partners. There is a boundary that has been crossed. You are correct. But he doesn't have the nomenclature to be able to do that. So he's shaming her instead. And
if I was her friend, if you were dating Tim and I went to a dinner where I saw Veronica with you and Tim, I would be like, you can't fucking date him. She's going to kill you in your fucking sleep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's the vibe.
Ooh, that's a strong vibe. All right. That's
She's a strong woman.
Him.
Okay.
She has a lovely home. Every time I see that house, I'm like, God damn it, I want a lovely home. All right, you guys. Thank you for sitting down and unpacking this Jamal, Veronica, Tim, Louisa conundrum that have been foisted upon us because we didn't want it. But if you did want to see the visuals of what you're listening to, you want to see Chris's red shirt and my blue shirt, then you could join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month. You get exclusive content such as a live every first Monday of the month and other stuff. So if you're interested in that, please join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month. You could hear, you could just join us and be there and hear all the juicy gossip. Go ahead.
Yes. Also, you can follow us at Instagram, on Instagram at DocuSweeties. Also, we are at DocuSweeties1 on X. We have at DocuSweeties on TikTok, and the Facebook group is the DocuSweeties Podcast Facebook group. We love you guys so much. Consider giving us 5 stars if you haven't yet. Okay. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.